S&P 500 stocks rose Thursday after the Federal Reserve hinted at possible interest rate cuts as soon as next month. The S&P 500 reached an all-time high, rising as much as 1% to 2,956 as the tech and energy sectors outperformed. The was up 0. Markets are based on numbers and perception. If the perception is, the Fed said Wednesday, it's ready to battle growing global and domestic economic risks as they took stock of intensifying trade tensions and growing concerns about inflation. Most Fed policymakers also dropped patient from the Fed's statement and acknowledged that inflation is running below its 2% objective. Market participants viewed the overall tone from the U.S. Central Bank as more dovish than expected. Traders are now, the Fed is not in the business of validating market pricing except when they are both heading in the same direction, and that is what the central bank did yesterday, said Stephen Blitz, chief U.S. economist at T.S. Lombard, in a note. Without an economic, Thursday's gains cut most of the steep losses recorded by the major indexes in May. The S&P stocks plunged in May as increasing trade tensions compounded fears of slower economic growth. China and the Fed's message on Wednesday sent the 10-year Treasury yield below 2% for the first time since November 2016. Investors bid the dollar also took a hit against other major currencies. The dollar-indexed energy shares got a boost from higher oil prices. The Energy Select, meanwhile, Slack shares surged more than 60% in their first day of trading. The stock traded a CNBC's Sam Meredith contributed to this report.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.